All right, good afternoon. So, hey, it's Shane. Just thought I would go live, but was kind of thinking today, about something to talk about, and it came to mind that just wanted to talk about residual income a little bit. So, with the economy that we live in, the modern technical age, that type of thing, I think it's fair to say that traditional jobs are not as secure as they once were. It's probably been that way for a while now, obviously. I have one of those traditional jobs, so I can speak from experience, and I know a lot of my friends can speak from experience as well. So just wanted to talk about residual income. What is it? Do you want it? How do you get it? And I made a few notes here. Those are the three main things. What is it? Do you want it? And how do you get it? No pitch here today, just food for thought for all my friends out there. As I'd mentioned kind of at the beginning of the year, I really wanted to start doing more videos. I don't pretend to be some celebrity, but I do have some thoughts that I wanted to share, and hopefully they resonate with some of the audience out there. So residual income, and what is it? A lot of different definitions of residual income. I'm mostly personally interested in the kind of residual income that basically comes your way when you're sick, when you're just feeling awesome, when you're traveling, when you're at home, basically coming in when you're sleeping. Obviously, that sounds great. Now, I'm not suggesting that it doesn't take some work to get that kind of residual income, but that's the kind of residual income I'm interested in, primarily because of how I opened up, which is to say the economy that we're living in nowadays is obviously not the economy of 20 years ago or 10 years ago, for that matter. There's this term, which I'm sure many of you have heard, called the gig economy now, where many people, some with their own choosing, others not so much so, been displaced in traditional types of jobs, but where they're basically taking on short-term jobs, sometimes even bidding on those jobs, whether that's a tech job, maybe it's literally an architect, a computer programmer, a marketing specialist, you name it. There's any number of types of jobs out there nowadays, people with skills, with abilities, but they're taking these short-term jobs, basically pretty much all on their own. They don't have the support of a big company, a corporation, really no support system at all, except the ones that they have created virtually with people that are doing similar things. So the gig economy, it's almost hard to say, is here to stay. Another thing that's here to stay is technology that is certainly displacing certain jobs. I've probably talked about this before, I won't remember, but many of you may know about the Whole Foods that Amazon.com bought Whole Foods, which you may know. They've got a test bed, if you will, up in Seattle, where they're running a Whole Foods there, pretty much fully automated. Now, they obviously have to have people stock items, that type of thing, but the shopping experience is completely, for the most part, automated. Hundreds of cameras. Someone walks in, they pick up what they want, they maybe decide they don't want it, they put it back down. Bottom line, when they walk out the store, those cameras and everything records what they've actually decided to keep. They walk out not having to talk to anyone, and their credit card is charged. So it doesn't take a lot of imagination to think about other types of jobs that will be displaced. Now, that's not to say that there won't be other opportunities, but the reality is in some of those situations, those jobs will not be replaced. The people that would take those jobs may not have the skills that they need. Hopefully they'll get the opportunity. But the point is things are changing rapidly. And for a lot of us, obviously, as we age, we're less interested in learning something new. Let's be honest. Some of us are prefer to learn something new more than others. But nonetheless, that's why I want to talk about residual income. With residual income, you're earning money in your sleep. You're earning money, whether you're wearing a lot of clothes, whether you're wearing a few amount of clothes, it doesn't matter, right? Because you've worked out a way where you've got income coming in, whether you're doing anything or not. And now, obviously, as I stated earlier, you're not going to be able to just start that immediately and just have a bunch of money coming in. Anybody that would ever say gaining residual income can be quick, can be easy, that's the exception versus the rule. That's at least my experience. So let's look here. So that's what residual income is. Now let's talk about, do you want it or not? May seem like a crazy question, but I can only answer for myself. I certainly do. Again, it's a personal thing, but I don't want the residual income so that I can just sit around and do nothing. Now, obviously you could, and that was kind of my premise with regards to residual income. Certainly gives you that ability. But for me, what I'm more interested in is the fact that with the residual income, I can gain time freedom and then choose to do those things that I'm passionate about, whether that's feeding those that are hungry. I mean, it can be as noble or as, I guess, hedonistic as you would want it to be. I personally would love to be able to do many things that I can't do because I don't have the time to do it because I have a traditional job. There's nothing wrong with a traditional job. We will always have what we think of as traditional jobs. So again, nothing wrong with that. But again, as the economy changes, in some cases we may find ourselves without a choice. So the other reason that I want residual income is so that I have some protections against a changing economy that might displace me. I personally am a high-tech or IT type person, so I'm fairly on top of latest and greatest technology, but there's all kinds of jobs that will be impacted by technology. Some, again, will have opportunities to retrain and continue to be gainfully employed in the regular 9 to 5, whatever you want to call it, type job. Others won't have that opportunity, and it will probably vary with basically your personality. And as people age, those opportunities are likely less. So the other thing I'll just say real quick, my perspective on this is it's never too late. It's never too late to begin to work towards residual income. And like I said, there's no pitch here. I'm just talking about something to be thinking about. Something that you may want to look into. So again, I said, do you want it? I can only speak for myself. I certainly want it so that I have the freedom to be involved in my passions, be involved in helping others, be involved in hopefully helping others gain the same freedom so that they can then also realize their passions, realize the passions of their friends, of their family, and the list goes on and on and on. So yeah, you have to ask yourself the question, do you want it? And the reason why you want it can be varied, and it not only varied, it could be a very long list of reasons why. So now really the last question is, how do you get it? A lot of traditional methods, some newer methods. Again, with technology, there's always emerging ways of getting residual income. If we talk about some of the traditional ways, we'll talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons of some of those ways. One of the big ones is real estate. Investing in real estate, either in a passive way or a more involved way, whether that's flipping houses or buying apartment complexes, many different things. Now, in and of itself, that's certainly a very good way of generating income. So the con, and I'm sorry that it's so dark here, the con, or one of the cons, is it's typically a large initial investment. Now, there's a lot of training out there how to leverage, do a lot of different leverage, that type of thing. Now, to learn those kinds of techniques, typically you have to pay to learn it unless you're able to learn it on your own. And there's risk involved as well. People obviously do have to have places to live, those types of things, but there are some risks. So I was originally gung-ho about real estate. Thankfully, my wife was like, okay, maybe this is not something we should jump into first. I think that real estate is a very viable way of having residual income. I just don't think it, in my mind, now having thought about it for a few years, is not the approach that we've taken for the initial stages of residual income. I think it's a very good second or third avenue once you've gotten to a comfortable point in generating residual income in other ways other than real estate. Many people that I know that have been able to achieve a very comfortable level of residual income have certainly moved on to real estate. They've also moved on to what's next in my list, on my list, which is equities, stocks, dividend-paying stocks, those types of things. Now, similarly to real estate, there's an inherent amount of risk, probably even more than real estate. Nonetheless, many people have become rich doing that. Many people have become very, very poor as well. So normally the winners are the ones that are the ones selling you the stocks and then selling them for you. They're the ones that win the most, I would say, generally speaking, and the institutions, those types of things. I was a finance major, so I thought I was going to grow up and become a stockbroker. That's not what I ended up doing. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I'm, again, not against investing in the stock market. It's just not I've been there, done that, have invested in it in the past, and it's not my first way of doing things. Another way of residual income. Now, the stocks, I don't think you can really just completely walk away from. If you pay someone to manage it and completely walk away from it, that's a pretty high level of trust. So maybe some can do it, some can't. I don't think I'm in that camp. I would not be able to put a bunch of money, give it to a financial, broker guy and just say, hey, make me the most money you can. Now, that'd be great if people do that, I know, but that's not me. So what's another way? Many ways that people are generating residual income by becoming experts in a certain field. With the digital economy now, crazy, but I mean, there are people that are making pretty good money doing YouTube, for example, or becoming experts in social media marketing or helping people understand how to use social media to improve their business, that type of thing. That's one of the things that I'm dabbling in. So, but nonetheless, that's another way. People making money off of eBay, Amazon. Now, those certainly that's residual income, but it's not typically going to get you the kind of residual income that I'm talking about. You can't walk away from a YouTube channel or selling on Amazon for very long and continue to have the residual income coming in. So in other words, the other thing that I'm interested in is ongoing residual income that at some point does not depend on me being involved. So if you're a YouTube content creator, at some point, if you're not creating any new content, then you're not earning any money. So that old content is only going to last so long. You're going to become irrelevant, and your subscribers are going to go away. There's a lot of great YouTube content creators out there. I watch a lot of different YouTube channels, very creative people, very interesting. You can find out just about anything you want, as most of you know, on YouTube. So it's cool. But another one is, act like you didn't hear this. I'm halfway kidding. Network marketing is another way that people generate residual income. That network marketing's got a bad rap, and for many legitimate reasons that it does. So that's one where you got to obviously be very particular about the company that you decide to get involved in. I would say you want to first look at their products, make sure that they have excellent products, make sure that they have a fair and equitable compensation plan, make sure it's something you can get behind, something that you would actually use. As they say in that field, you want to be a product of the product. So if it's whatever it is, you want to be using it. So there's some other things I could talk about that, but since I said I'm not going to make a pitch, I'm not going to make a pitch. So look at those options. There's others that I've probably not brought to the table. Those are the ones I literally just decided 15 minutes ago, hey, I'm going to do a video. I took some quick notes about some of the ways. I've talked about some of the pros and cons of some of those ways. And like I had mentioned with real estate and stocks and bonds, those equities, that type of thing, I see those as second and third tiers, things that you bring in later with regards to residual income. I know there's tons of real estate professionals out there that have been very successful starting out only with real estate, so I have no problems with that whatsoever, or equities. The real question becomes is, can a good number of people succeed in doing that without taking on large risk, large entry into that with regard to the money they need to put down. And one of the other ones that just came to mind that I left out, obviously there's the traditional types of entrepreneurial things. Maybe you own a business. That's great. I love small businesses, medium size. I love business. I've been in business for over 20 years. Been working with Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies. So I have no problem with business. But if you want to, most people that want residual income, again, they want freedom. So let's say you have expertise and you want to start your own company. The statistics are that most people that start a company, many of them, a large number of them fail within the first 5 years, and it's even worse after 10. Now that's because of a lot of different reasons. It's not normally because of the lack of passion, not normally because of the lack of knowledge that the person that started the business had. It typically boils down to it's a lot of work. There's a lot of factors involved, whether that's inventory, intellectual property. If you're in the business of consulting, for example, let's say you want to start your own consulting company. Similarly to what I mentioned earlier for the YouTube person, if you're not getting new consulting jobs, if you're not hiring people to do it, if you want to step away, then you can only step away so much, because you have to continue to be hiring consultants. You need to continue to provide the training, or you have to make sure that they are taking that step on their own. If they're independent contractors, you still need to make sure that they're investing in their ability to stay on top of things, and it's changing more rapidly than it ever has, and that will only continue to be the case. So a lot of inherent problems, not problems that can't be overcome, and it's just a progressive thing. I know a lot of people that have started traditional businesses, and they realized they started the traditional business to, in many cases, to be free of the corporate world. Again, nothing wrong with that, but then they found that they were just as trapped. That's not the story of everyone, but many of them found that it was no different, and many of them close those down, and they go back to the corporate world, because as much as they don't like it, they don't have all that responsibility. So many people that have started their own businesses that are very, very successful, but there are also many that have started successful businesses. They weren't the statistic. It was very successful, but then they realized that, hey, this wasn't really what I was looking for. I'm still too involved, and realize that if I'm not involved, I can't duplicate what I'm able to bring to the table, and when I walk away, it just falls apart. And so that's when those entrepreneurs begin to say to themselves, hey, there's got to be a better way, there's got to be another way. And so they look to other ways. So that's all I had, I think, for today. I hope some of this piqued some, or caused you to think, caused you to say, hey, should I look into this? Maybe you're already doing something that is generating you residual income. I would love to have people comment, tell me what you're doing, tell me what's been successful for you, what's not been so successful. This is just a community. I'm hoping that this, again, get some of those juices going, if you will, in your head to be thinking about your future. And the last thing, the way I'm going to end this is close to where I started it, which is to say, in my way of thinking, it's never too late. I think 52. I'm pretty sure I'm 52. I have not given up on gaining time freedom. I've not given up on my traditional job either. That's the beauty of the way that I'm approaching this. Is not a pitch, so I'm not going to talk about the way I'm approaching it. But with the way I'm approaching the ability to generate residual income, I'm able to give full efforts to my traditional job. And yes, it's extra work, but I think it's going to be worth it in the end. That's all that I can say. And so I wish you guys and gals an awesome day. And yeah, have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Bye.